It wouldn't bother me, but I don't need, you know.
Gotcha. Don't need others. Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
Nothing that really involved other players. So
Yeah, that's fine. Welcome to another episode of World by Night. Um, this is the Vampire Edition, for those who haven't figured it out. This is a side session involving Roderick, the Assamite. Wanted to get a few things done and figured now's the perfect time to get it done. And Roderick, we will start with you. It's only a couple days before the actual fully meeting where Magnus does actually become Prince, which I'm not changing that, so he actually is going to become the Prince.
right.
So basically, Duke and him are currently working on details on how to do the switch over a little easier.
All right. Well,
start with whichever one you want to.
Well, I've got a couple of things to handle, I guess, digitally, so I'll start there. First and foremost is start checking with my my various conspiracy blogs and stuff that I follow and write under my pen name.
Mm-hmm.
And put out a couple of fresh posts about these religious zealots that are harassing citizens in D.C. I had posted a little bit before, but I wanted to see if there was any response, and also to kind of remind the people who follow my blogs that they're going to these zealots are going to keep pushing their ideas and keep harassing everyone else until someone stands up to them. Kind of a not a real blatant call to arms, but just
good enough.
Hey, stand up and let's not take this.
Well, you've gotten quite a few responses. Both good and bad. Naturally the bad are, obviously someone who support, depends on what religion it is, so on and so forth. Gets in, if you go into details. There are plenty that are like, yeah, we agree with you. That's fucked up. You shouldn't be pushing your views on others.
So pretty standard responses from the crowd.
Standard responses, what you expect. There are a few that say, hey, if I ever run across one of them religious zealots, I'm not going to let them push me out of the city. I don't care what they think.
All right. Well, that's fine. It's not necessarily I don't need to create active mobs. It's more of just have people prepared that if they're out in the right places, maybe they can kind of push back a little bit.
Yeah, you get a general idea from some of the responses that's probably is exactly what's going to happen. Is that if they're seen, they obviously will be put in their place.
So I guess I'll go from my and probably some of those people are also following me on the doomsday prepping angle, but I'll check those blogs, and specifically I'm trying to reach out to any of them who maybe have posted pictures or that they've got, if they've stocked up on military surplus equipment and they've got that kind of gear and knowledge, to reach out to them, see if any of them are available to contact, that I maybe have some gear to offer and trade, and some get together, trade ideas, hey, check out my shelter. What do you got? How do we compare?
Okay.
So under the pretense of networking, but obviously I have other motives.
Yeah. Well, you definitely get a few people, quite a few people, actually more than you actually expected in DC, who are doomsday prepping. Quite a few of them, show pictures of their various, shelters and stuff like that. Some are just, like basically a closet filled with weapons. But I mean, there are some, that obviously have probably a house or something where you see like an entire basement,
and that's what I'm looking for, is the ones who are serious, not just that there's some, not to stereotype, but just a gun nut that is into it, but the ones who are serious and have taken the steps to prepare those secure shelters. And I don't just want a guy who's got a bunch of guns, but a guy who's got the know-how, the survival skills, and he's taken the time to prep himself as well as the equipment.
Let's see.
specifically one or two of them maybe that want to meet up and network.
Okay, let's see. I'll say you got 10 responses. We'll just roll the d10. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's not exactly what I was expecting. Yeah, I just do a percentile. It makes it easier. Okay, so about 40% of the responses you got are ones that basically close to what you're looking for. They're not exactly fully everything, but hey, it's a start.
Okay.
You got to give it a little more time. They'll probably, you'll probably get more responses. Not everybody can access a computer at all times. Plus,
right.
People kind of distrust computers.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just maybe there's not the perfect person out there right now. I just keep my feelers out. My ideal would be like maybe a former military or something to that experience level, or a Bear Grylls enthusiast where they've got the wilderness skills and stuff as well. And that's fine.
I'm already formulating an NPC for that. So
I'll just keep networking as well. And certainly these guys are worth getting to know. They might have gear I don't have access to. So I'll kind of respond back and forth with them and see what they've got and what they're looking for. More for actual networking than anything else.
Okay, yeah.
And while even with some of them, but I'm also want to reach out to like the biohacker community.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically looking at like different various cybernetics and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I assume there's going to be some crossover because the do-it-yourselfers are going to be the conspiracy theorists that don't trust big corporations, that sort of thing. So I want to reach out to them, and that it's something that I've got skills in electronics, and I know field medicine and stuff, and I want to get into this. And you guys got any tips? Where should I start? That sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, you get a bunch of like various links for kind of the do-it-yourself, cybernetics stuff like that, or do-it-yourself at home.
Right.
Some are expected. There's some that you actually get a response from one guy. Obviously, in his actual signature is he's a neurosurgeon.
Okay.
So you see, he's a big conspiracy buff too, and doesn't really trust a lot of the government. You see, he sends you to basically a video vault that he has of the various videos he's done, where he's done surgery on various people who wanted cybernetics without the possible tracers.
Right. All right. Well, and I'm definitely going to try and coordinate with him. Maybe I can. Granted, obviously, I want to at least know what's going on myself or do it myself, but he might be the good jumping off point. So I'll see if he's available to help me put some stuff together and tell him I'm just starting out. What would be some good basic ones that are going to be more utility type implants and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I'm not looking to replace an arm right off the bat or something, but
yeah, I mean, some of them were just like minor things, minor cybernetics. Mainly, you could tell his earlier ones were probably a test run to make sure they worked perfectly.
Right. And that's, if he's done some of that testing, I want to see his work and I can go from there. I may even look into see if I can start tracking down actual corporate cybernetics and maybe reverse engineer them. See if he's had any success doing that.
Well, he'll respond later. I'll send you a big blurb. I'll send you a big private message on Facebook about what he gives you.
Sure.
Just keep reminding.
That's what I figured.
See, that takes out those top 3 right there.
So from there, I will do a little bit of promoting with those networks on some of my new books, or on my existing books, and then I'm going to have a new one coming out shortly. And at which point I will set out from my house to head to visit Jonathan at his bookstore.
Okay. As usual, it's open.
Keeps odd hours for a bookstore. It's convenient.
It keeps very odd hours for a bookstore.
I'll see if he's not at the front desk. I'll ask if he's available.
I believe he's in his office.
No.
It's
All right,
again, or Lisa, whatever the hell I named it.
So I'll head on back to chat with him.
Okay. His door's open. He kind of looks up. Hey, Roderick. Been a while since I've seen you with everything going on.
Yeah, I haven't had as much chance to delve into the books as I'd like, but I have done some with it, and it's definitely something I'm interested in knowing more about.
Okay.
And I was hoping we can come to an arrangement. Obviously, something like that you can't simply put a dollar amount on.
Yeah, it's a little harder because it all depends on how open the person is already to it before you can really determine, how much training is going to be required.
But I'm hoping that we can make some time together for me to pursue it a little more deeply. In exchange, I'd like to offer you an exclusive early access to my newest book that we'd sell it at your store prior to the official publish date, and we'll promote it here to help generate some extra business for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to
generates revenue for me, but helps get the word out for your store and bring in maybe some new customers.
I definitely would not argue. And I would definitely like to branch out a little bit and start getting a bit more varied clientele and get pretty much the same ones over and over again to have seen the place. So.
Well, I'm sure I'll bring in a couple different niche markets, I have to imagine.
Well, that's fine. I got books of all kinds, so not a big deal.
Yeah, that you do. I can't argue with that.
Takes a while to get some of these collections, and I've made a few deals with some of the more higher powers that be in order to keep some of these books in stock.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Books, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be the exotic books, but sometimes they all just turn into rarities.
Mm-hmm.
Books in general turn into rarities these days.
That's true. Everybody wants to do everything by computer nowadays. They forget what books are.
Yeah, well, they also forget that books are a lot harder to trace.
No, that's true.
So, well, good. I'll get the paperwork drawn up for that and
awesome.
Get it to the publisher to get those books over to you in advance. We can put together some sort of advertising campaign for it, and
that works for me.
And then as I wrap up delving into this first book you've given me, I'll follow up with you from there. And
gladly. Well, there's a lot. See, the books only teach you how to do the magical aspect. What I haven't had a chance to tell a lot of your associates and anyone who pays attention long enough is that there's more to, there's more out there in the world than just the magic alone. I know you've heard of it before about the metaphysics, and as being a vampire, you guys kind of touch on it a little bit, but you don't realize how much you do actually have, an impact with the metaphysics. Like, you guys can sometimes, you can make somebody's blood boil, or, you can make sure no one hears you. Well, in the metaphysical aspect, there are many other abilities that you can do that you don't even realize that you had access to long before you ever became a vampire. Every being born in the universe has the power to use what they call an innate power within. It varies per races. Humans tend to be the most open, but don't realize it. Like, he, brings up a globe of water just in his hand. That was not magic. That's pure metaphysics. What I'm doing there is water kinetics specifically. Now, when you get better at it, he brings up a globe of fire, and he kind of combines them and then kind of mixes them around, and then you just see kind of like a yin-yang symbol of fire and water. When you get really good, you'll be able to do something like that. Now, that takes a lot of practice to do. And this is all pure metaphysics. This has nothing to do with magic.
Well, again, those are the branches of knowledge that you have a lot more access to that I'm I'm hoping we can pursue further in the future. So I certainly think this arrangement can be to both our benefit.
Oh yeah.
So, and I guess while I'm in here, and since you seem to be the guy who knows more about the other side a little bit more, I'm specifically delving a bit more into the spiritual, especially in the area. I mean, DC is certainly a city of chaos and tumult already. I have to imagine the other side is just as much. But I'm specifically looking for some specifics, somewhat more potent spirits. I was hoping to find either a guardian or a war type spirit.
Okay.
I was going to check like the Arlington Cemetery, but I didn't know if there were any other specific places you felt they might reside. Any other hot spots?
Well, thankfully, a lot of this nation's history is based off of war, so there's quite a few spots, more specifically in the DC area, or even within close range, that you can go to and find kind of what you're looking for. Like Gettysburg up in Pennsylvania is a huge example of where you can find some pretty decent war or guardian spirits like that. Honestly, and I know you probably won't want to hear this, but probably your better bet, if you really want to get in touch with some spirits, those who know all about them and can kind of work them and talk them into deals, is you probably want to go to the shifters. They've created magical items using spirits that they commune with on a daily basis.
Yeah, so
shifters have a very close connection to the spiritual realm, and they actually do it a lot easier than I've seen almost anybody.
Yeah, I've done at least a cursory study of their methods, and from what I've studied, their methods and the methods that I, as a kindred, would use kind of run contrary to one another, because theirs tend to be more about agreements with the spirits, whereas kindred tend to be more of a binding and almost enslaving of the spirits. So they tend to be not too fond of that.
Yeah, I mean, they, obviously do what they have to do, but yeah, that's one of those, and that's why the shifters tend to get more power out of their, items than the kindred would, because
yeah, well, they're a little more invested in it.
Yeah, not to mention the spirits themselves willingly do it, not forced into it.
Right. And again, I'm not necessarily against speaking with them, but I'm concerned the response my methods might have among them.
Well, there are quite a few that would probably just rip your head off and shit down your neck. But there are some, more specifically, I know a couple, and I've actually talked to them. They actually tolerate me a lot more because, well, mainly because their Karen doesn't bother me. And the fact that I've had no stake in anything that involves the shifters. Like, I'm not an official kindred, so they don't see me as a threat. They still kind of say I smell a little funky, and I tell them to get over it. But there are a few that would actually probably work with you and at least try and get you on the right path. Not all the shifters are going to be out there to kill you. There are, like I said, there are a few that have been working with kindred for a while now. I know Robert's a pretty powerful one. He's one of the major ones at the cairn, just up the way there. And I'm sure he knows a few contacts. There's Jojo the Korax, who was always flying around here somewhere, and I'm sure you can find him if you know what you're looking for. But yeah, all of those guys would basically, at least those two for right now. I'm gonna probably get you a list of names later, but those two right now would probably be willing to at least help you and try and see if they can work it to your advantage that way.
Well, that might be a place to start. Robert, I've had, I guess, some cursory contact with, and he seems to be one I should be leery of being around, so I've been avoiding that route, but Korax might be an alternative.
I'm not sure how much of a connection Jojo has. But can't hurt. At least he can put you. he's going to be a better one to put you in touch with a shifter who's going to be more friendly to you than others would. I mean, even if you say, hey, look, I don't want to bother Robert, he could probably list a few other shifters that you could talk to. There are some within the city. They stay kind of hidden. They're glasswalkers. They're the technology shifters, which is funny. But they'll probably interact with you a little more. I don't know them personally. I haven't met any of them. I just know they're here. But like I said, probably JoJo's your better start because JoJo's core accent doesn't care what you look like or what you smell like. He associates with everyone because that's who JoJo is.
Well, that certainly gives me at least a jumping off point. So.
Oh, that's true. If he stands too close.
That'll certainly give me a jumping off point and a place to start. So.
Ironically, I do know that JoJo hangs around a lot at the box. You will have to forgive his side job.
Well, we'll have to pay the rent.
Yeah, he does it by selling drugs, but that's what he does. And
if they have they have value to somebody, so.
Yeah, well, I do have to admit, I mean, he does keep it maintained and controlled. He only sells to people who he's dealt with before and who he can trust that won't get it to like kids and stuff like that. He's very picky about his clientele, which is why he's got such a strong clientele. And he never runs out. I don't know why.
Well, I suppose that happens if you establish yourself as reliable.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he's probably one of the people to talk to first. You can't miss him. If you go in the box, he can be on any one of the floors. He varies. You'll see him. He's usually dressed in all black. Wears a lot of silver, like silver rings, silver necklaces and stuff, which he does that. And he told me personally that he does it just to annoy the shifters because they all have this severe allergy to silver. So he does it just to drive them nuts and they can't do anything about it. So, I mean, that's kind of how JoJo is. You get used to it after a little while.
Well, it certainly seems to be a character and certainly one I should get in contact with, so gives me a good starting point. I appreciate it. I'll let you know again as soon as I get that paperwork through for that book.
Awesome. Well, I'll be here. I'm not here. I'm probably running around, but Lisa should be able to at least get you in touch with me if you need to.
All right. Perfect. Well, have a good day.
You too.
Or night, I guess. And I will. I'll head out.
Okay.
I'll stop at the Vox first. I need to chat with Magnus, and hopefully he's there. And since I have to go there for other purposes now anyway, seems convenient.
Do you want to go to Magnus first, or you want to hunt down JoJo first?
Well, I'll just see if Magnus is. Well, I don't know if he has an office yet. If he's taking over.
Actually, you timed it right. He happens to be in right now, talking with Duke about getting things situated and what he's going to change. Duke is kind of very specific. He's like, Cash had it this way, and like certain things here. So if you could at least somewhat respect that, Magnus is like, oh sure, that's fine.
Perfect. Well, I will. I'll start with ask how they're both doing.
We're good.
Either of them much since the night of the big throwdown.
The night of the massacre.
And I understand he's got some positions he's looking to fill. And I know typically he looks for official members of the Camarilla. However, with his position of Scourge, or if he'd rather Sheriff, I'd be interested. And an advantage, of course, for him is number one. While I would certainly adhere to the tenants under him, I'm already on the gray area. And number two, just as long as we do the paperwork, he's got the guarantee that there's nothing else going on the side because that's how we operate.
Yeah,
You know, I certainly am not going to break a contract because it's not benefit. You know, not going to benefit anyone, and that's not how we do things.
Yeah.
So if he wants that position filled with a guaranteed individual, that we could certainly arrange something, do the paperwork, so it's taken care of, and I have the benefit of already having basically deputies I could call upon if need be for anything he needs me to handle.
Okay.
So if it's, I don't know if he's already filled that position, but if not, it's something I.
He did fill a position of sheriff, but he doesn't have a scourge.
Additional benefit would be that his seneschal's already agreed to grant me a private office here.
Yeah.
So I'd already be on hand.
So. He said that's fine. I can definitely set that up. You can be the new scourge. That's an easy setup.
So I'll get the paperwork side of things sorted out for my clan, get it in front of them. I guess the only thing I personally would like to see in there is that if he's having me carry out rites of destruction, that the blood of those individuals, it would be mine to use for my thaumaturgical experiments.
He says that's fine. You know, I mean, he may want a vial. He says I may want a vial, but
yeah, well, something, of course, especially if it's a major player, you may need something to verify the job was handled, or any other purposes.
The one thing you'll learn with me, Roderick, is the fact that I don't doubt an Assamite's word. I know you guys are very particular about how you do things, and you make sure that your target is your target and not screwing up and hitting someone else. So I'm not worried about that. I would have no doubts that who you hit was who you hit. But just like you want some for your experiments, you know.
Well,
I could use some for mine, so I would only require a vial of each. Yeah, oh yeah.
And if there's I guess if there's anything else you want to build into that, any specifics, you can let me know and we can build into the contract. Otherwise, I'll assume a lot of the contract will be kind of a retainer type contract, so you can
I would say
add clauses as they come up.
Yeah, I would say leave it as a retainer kind of contract for now, just because you never know what can come up in this city with everything that's gone on. Anything else can happen. So you may want to just leave it as a retainer. That way your services are constantly being used.
And that's what I'll probably do, is the position and title are tied to that retainer contract, and then, of course, any specific clauses that step outside that the bounds of that contract would be dealt with on a case by case. So, well, good. I hope you're settling in well.
Getting the swing of things. A few minor things I have to work out, but
well, I'm sure there's some interesting logistics to running two different regions as well.
That's a little easier. I mean, I already had a seneschal for Bethesda, so that can pretty much take care of itself. And it basically just expanded what I already, expanded.
I suppose to a certain extent you're almost merging the two, keeping in separate management, but there's got to be some bleed over, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
So, well, I don't want to interfere too much, but I thought I'd stop in, and glad I can take that position off your hands and handle it, and we will go from there.
Sounds good.
So if there's anything specific, you of course have my cell phone. That's probably the easiest way to reach me.
Oh yeah, if I have anything specific or anything comes to mind, I'll definitely let you know.
All right.
But for now, and Duke has already told me about you getting an office. I'm already working on opening up one of the private rooms on the 4th floor to be your office, and it will specifically be for your purposes only.
Perfect. Well, and I'm sure some of that will get kind of bankrolled into the position as Scourge. I'm going to serve as kind of a business office for that position, if you will.
Yeah. This basically, and allow you to have your own personal space within there that has no cameras or anything, so that way, you can deal with anything in there.
All right. Perfect. Well, glad to hear things are starting to smooth over. I guess as smooth as they get in this city, smooth as sandpaper, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So if there's unless you have anything else specific, I'm going to handle a couple of other things here in the box before I head out. Some personal business.
Okay, sounds good.
But you enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Well, give
Uh,
them a polite bow, step out, and
John, out of character, we're going to need a picture of your character, both even the one you have now and maybe one that shows his actual face. We're
Yep.
making a whole. I don't know if you were paying attention to chat, but we're making a whole section for it, and we're trying to put all the people in it.
I did kind of see it. I do have one of him in his combat gear, the one I'm using now, and I have another one, which I guess once in a while maybe Roderick would go out without a mask and cloak.
Yeah, that's fine.
Although I don't know, he is a paranoid conspiracist, so it's a toss up.
Even if you just want to use the one with the mask and cloak, as long as it's something. But they, just more for visual reference. I mean, even though we see this picture every time you play,
right?
Just more, in case they ever do get personal and they get to see him without the mask on, it'd be nice to have a picture like that. If you just want to send them to me, I can upload them for you, and I'll tag your name in it, tag his name in it, and everything. If you want to do it that way, yeah. I mean, like that one would be.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean,
that's his. In fact, both of those I think are in with my character sheet on the Google folders.
Oh, I'll probably have to look.
But otherwise, I can send them to you. But they are there if it's easier to pick them from there.
Yeah, just go ahead. Actually, go ahead and send them to me, and I'll post them for you. That way, it's easier because I don't.
Yeah, otherwise you have to go digging for them.
Yeah, I don't feel like digging for them. I did enough looking today for the others.
I understand.
Yeah, if you check the group page, you'll see that we've added quite a few photos, so that way you get more visual reference. I did see some of
them.
Yeah.
No, I understand. That's how I run my in-person game. Is actually every character they interact with goes up on a TV behind me. So
nice. But yeah, that's basically why I'm trying to do it, is so that way everybody has a more visual reference to who they're dealing with, what they look like, so on and so forth. I mean, because a lot of them, obviously, there have been people with appearances 6 that people have acted like, nothing. And, I'm trying to change up a little bit and, make that a little more of a focus. Like,
it should be relevant.
You're dealing with a guy who's got an appearance of 6. He's, balls fucking hot. I don't care, male or female. As vampires, you don't care about the sex. So, I mean, just the fact that he's a looking individual, you're going to obviously pay more attention to.
Or the flip side, you're dealing with someone who's borderline Nosferatu ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe Holly is looking for the Nosferatu one, so that should be.
I will fire her some. I have some that I use in my games that work really well. So I'll fire her some if she wants to use them.
Okay, sure.
So, those can be tricky to find the right thing. So
yeah, Nosferatus are always hard to try and find the right ones. I mean, for Raz, I just kind of typed in Clan Nosferatu under Google Images, and it gave me a couple, and I was like,
yeah, there's a couple. I've put together some other ones. So,
I mean, but yeah, if you want to shoot them to her, I'm sure she wouldn't mind and make her job a lot easier.
Right. So I will do that after this session too.
Okay. So I assume you're gonna wander the floors and see if you can't find this elusive JoJo.
Right.
Okay.
And I guess one other thing, and it doesn't have to necessarily be cleared with Magnus, but I have a couple of animal ghouls. I want to make sure that's not going to be an objection. Bringing it into. I don't know what the limits are. It is still a public establishment.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the.
If I retain it to my office, that's probably one thing. If I'm cruising the dance floor with a raven on my shoulder and a, bat hanging off my arm, that's probably another.
Well, I'll leave it at, if you let Magnus know, he can get you like a exotic animals permit, so that way you're allowed to carry it around.
Okay.
That's an easy thing to do. That way you can have your ghoul around. But yeah, bringing it in, I mean, if you're bringing it in and going to keep it in the office, that's fine. If you want to walk around with it, you can too. It's not unheard of. It'd be something cool and definitely get you attention on the various club floors.
I walk around in a armored robe and a mask. I assume I get some attention already, but
yeah, even more so now that you got gold raven on your shoulder. Yeah.
Right.
Although I wouldn't bring that around JoJo because he wouldn't probably be too happy with that, seeing as he is a raven.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends where he stands on those things.
JoJo's kind of iffy. He's weird. I purposely made him that way.
Well, that's fine. So I'm going to look for him, though. I assume I got enough of a description that I can track him down.
Oh, yeah. Wearing all black, lots of silver. Yeah, that actually narrows it down. I mean, you actually get stuck on the goth floor for a little bit because that's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that's the whole floor.
Yeah. But you do happen to see one guy. He's probably, I don't know, I think I put him at like 5'6" or so he's kind of average height. He's got slicked back hair. He's being friendly to everyone.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be Jersey.
Does he look like he's from New Jersey? Because I'm thinking slick back, black hair, friendly to everyone. I picture him with a Jersey accent.
No, but he is definitely very chatty. You see him coming up, doing handshakes. As a vampire, you can see it. It's the drug deals that are giving it away. But he does it real slick. Most mortals probably wouldn't pick up on that fact, but you're a paranoid guy, so you watch everything.
Well, yeah, that's part of the operation.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I will go up, politely introduce myself, tell him I'm Roderick Blackwood, and I got his name from Jonathan.
He nods. Okay.
I'm delving into, I guess I'm exploring the spiritual aspect of the city, and was hoping perhaps he'd have some thoughts. I understand that something he's maybe would know a little bit more about, or maybe knows some other people who have delved into it.
Okay, there are. Well, I mean, I assume since Jonathan told you probably already know what I am and what kind of contacts I have. So I will say, yes, you're aware that obviously I do have people that I know that I could put you in touch with. Being who you are, however, that does limit that collection quite a bit.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah. But that doesn't, I'm not saying that outright takes him out, but it just limits, exactly how many I could get to assist you.
Well, yeah, I understand some of them are a little leery about interacting with my kind.
Yeah, it's just something due to the whole, you're undead.
Undead outside the normal operation of reality.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, believe me. Every time I go over there, like, hey, you smell like vampires. You've been around vampires. Yeah. I feel like I'm answering to my parents. But thankfully, they've since lightened up about it because they know I'm going to do whatever I want to do anyways. I don't care.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. I do have a few people I can talk to and probably put you in touch with that will give you a little leeway. It's just to help better make sure that I'm putting you in touch with the right people. You're going to have to give me a little more information. I'm assuming we should probably walk somewhere else so we're not just standing here.
Yeah, we can certainly. I'm sure there's a private room we can use.
He motions this way. Thank God I got a card for one of these. Swipes it, door opens. It's just one of the personal lounges, but it's more for people of your nature. Closes the door.
Yeah, a little.
So that way you have a little more privacy. So tell me, what exactly are you looking for? And I can narrow down the list for you.
Well, I've been making a study a bit about the interacting with spirits and the crafting of I guess what your folk typically call fetishes. Now, understandably, my kind do it a little differently, so I'm trying to understand a little better the differences, and maybe I can find a better solution than the one I have now. Um, Also get in touch with some spirits that maybe I can start there.
Okay.
See this operation from their side.
Okay. So basically, you want to create fetishes. Is basically what you're telling me.
Right.
Of sorts.
Well, there's weapons, armor.
Okay.
I know there's a variety of what you can do with them, depending what sort of spirits you interact with. But
That is true.
given who and what I am and what I do, the war and guardians type spirits seem the most prudent place to start.
Okay. Well, then that's a little easier. Um, they're as much as people don't realize. The war and guardian spirits tend to be the ones who are more open to being put into items and stuff like that. Mainly because it, in a sense, gives them a second life.
Well, right, it gives them the opportunity to continue doing what they do.
So, thankfully, those two particular groups are going to be much easier to talk to than, say, if you wanted to just create wind or whatever and grabbed a wind spirit. They're iffy, can be moody.
Yeah, I would imagine they're probably a shifty sort.
Yeah. So, okay, I can think of a few people that you could talk to. I know he probably already suggested this guy, but honestly, I don't think there's anyone better plus willing to work with you than Robert. He, I mean, I go to the cairn every so often, so I don't know who all. Um, Basically, who I'd put you in touch with is what the shifters call the theurges, which are like their shamans for the group.
Okay.
The ones who stay more in touch with the spiritual realm.
Sure.
I don't think Robert is, but like I said, I go there every so often just to keep up on the latest gossip, find out what's going on within the cairn, and because I'm a shifter, it's apparently a requirement. But I go there just to keep touch. I don't really, I meet people, but I don't get to know them too personally because I never know how long they're going to last. With the way things work, I could meet a guy and the next day he could be dead, or moved on to another area. So I don't try and get attached to too many of them, or at least acknowledge too many of them too much more than hey, I'm Jojo the Corax. So I don't know about the leadership within the groups. I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to Robert so that way it just makes it easier for you, and see if he can't think of a theurge that would probably fit and that would help you. Because some of them focus on certain spirits, others just focus on the whole generic outlook of things. And that's why, you always want to make sure you have the right theurge.
Well, that's why I'm starting with you, because I understand you're the guy who knows people. So.
But yeah, that's definitely easy. I can definitely work that out.
All right. Well, I'll give him a card with one of my cell numbers. I've got a number different ones, but with one he can reach me at. Okay. And he's certainly welcome to pass that on to.
Yeah. He hands you his business card. It just says Jojo, entrepreneur, and has the Korak symbol, which is basically just a glyph of a crow. But you can reach me there anytime. It has my cell phone number. It has my email address. It has the website I have. You'll be amazed. Thankfully, I made some good contacts in this area to help me with that part. But yeah, any one of those ways, I check all those constantly. My phone goes off every time somebody sneezes by the page.
Yeah, I understand. So perfect. Well, if you want to just keep me posted, let me know what you hear, and I'll move forward from there.
Definitely. And I'll also talk to them. If Robert mentions a couple I know, I'll talk to them personally and see if I can't suggest that they, at least give you a chance. I know some of them are kind of iffy, like I'm sure Jonathan told you, but I know some are kind of, but I could probably talk them into it because they'll listen to me a little more, mainly because they know I associate with you guys on a more frequent basis. So I'm going to know who to trust, who not to trust. Robert only associates with a certain few, so he couldn't really say one way or the other whether you're trustworthy or not, even though, he could have information from others. So if he brings up a couple, I'll talk to him personally and be like, hey, look, I know this guy. Yeah, he may be a vampire, but he's not as bad as all the others.
Perfect. Oh, very good. I will. I don't want to waste too much of your time. I'm sure you have plenty of business to do yet tonight.
People can wait.
So, I think that was about all I had for you.
Okay, that works for me. All right. Well, good luck in your search. Hope everything goes well, and one of us will definitely get a hold of you eventually. Let you know one way or the other, so that way we can figure out.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Then I will head out from the box.
Okay. The other thing you haven't done according to your list is talk to Giles.
Yeah. I may.
Whatever.
You came up with the name.
I didn't.
I may swing through Arlington just to see if there are any war guardian spirits, because I can see and speak to them with my path of spirit manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll probably swing through there on the way to find Giles' office.
Okay. Well, that's not hard because he's director of the FBI now. So.
Right. Swing through Arlington, just kind of make a cursory sweep if I see any blatantly strong guardian spirits or war spirits.
You know what? Actually, I'll roll that one and see if you did. Not right now.
Well, and I figure they kind of come and go.
So. Yeah. So for now, not really, but I'm sure there are some.
Yeah, well, it's a big place too. I'm not walking the whole damn thing tonight.
Yeah. I don't think even a vampire could walk the whole damn thing in one night. It's a big damn cemetery.
Right. And then I will swing over towards the FBI office.
Okay.
And specifically at this point, I have to see if I can. Well, I've seen Giles' vehicle before. So I am going to see if I can see it from outside.
No, you can't. I'll tell you that.
I imagine it's in a parking garage, however.
Yeah. It is in a parking garage. But...
I'm going to kind of walk around the parking garage a bit. Not inside, walk around, see if there's any doors that maybe have not good camera coverage. Or it's plausible, maybe I could slip through without being seen. And I do have a 3 in computer, 2 in technology, so I don't know if that has a bearing, but...
You managed to happen to find on one of the sides of the building, they happen to be reworking the cameras, so it looks like they're down for now.
Perfect. I guess I'll kind of discreetly poke my head inside and see what kind of coverage they have on the inside, or if it's a lot of garages, it's just the outside, so I just want to make sure. Well, then I'll walk in and I'm going to look for Giles' vehicle, see if I can locate it.
Okay, it takes you a while to find it, but you managed to find it. He was smart. He doesn't park it on the very top row or the very first row. He parks it
right, somewhere in the middle, less obvious, a little more of a discreet positioning. And well, I want to make sure there's no one around, which I assume there's not, or they would have confronted me.
No wonder.
Strolling through their wonderful parking garage. And I am going to leave him a note. And it will say, Agent Giles, I appreciate you lifting the bounty on my head. I suggest in the future, however, that you be a little more circumspect and consider more carefully before making enemies.
Okay.
I can be a capable ally, but I can assure you I'm far more dangerous of an enemy. Stroll too long through the Blackwood, and you will find yourself eating only ashes. And I'll imbue that with a point of blood using my Path of Father's Vengeance, the Feast of Ashes. I can actually imbue that phrase.
Okay.
Such that when he reads it, he will find that he can not drink blood. He can only gain blood points from eating ashes, and it can only be used to rise each night. So whatever blood pool he has when he reads it, that's the blood pool he's stuck with for disciplines for a week. So for a week after reading it, he can't gain any blood points except to rise each night from eating ash.
Awesome.
And I will leave it under his windshield wiper.
Okay. Nice.
And then I'll stroll out.
Okay. I like that. That was pretty slick.
And I think that's about all I had to take care of. I talked to Magnus about position there. I've got some feelers out for doomsday preppers and biohackers.
Mm-hmm.
And Jojo is reaching out to his contacts on my behalf for experts on spirits. So I don't think there's anything else. I'll head back to my haven. I will send an email to my publisher letting him know that I made this early access arrangement for Jonathan's bookstore.
Okay.
Just that we're going to.
The card he gave you has the name of the bookstore, and actually, he actually does have a website.
So I'll forward that information to my publisher.
Okay.
That we're going to do kind of like a pre-release promotion.
Okay.
At Jonathan's bookstore, and I'm going to throw in a little extra that the first night, so it'll be a week before my official publish date. That first night, I'll go in and do a signing.
Awesome. Okay.
Under my pen name. So
awesome.
Get a little extra publicity for Jonathan, but tell my publisher so they can kind of get the word out too and do some advertising. And so we have inventory on hand.
Sounds good.
And I think that'll be it.
Okay.
Double check in case anything crazy showed up on any of my blogs while I was gone.
No, still, a bunch more people have responded about the religious zealots. Again, both sides of the fence, hey, let them believe what they want. But at the same time, there are people arguing that it's fine, you can believe what you want, but when you're pushing it on other people, that's when it goes beyond the line.
Right.
You actually get some Christians who actually side with the people who are saying, that you should not be forcing your religion on people. And then you get others from, various, it's scattered all about it.
It's a mixed bag.
You did get 2 more responses to your doomsday preppers.
Okay.
One shows shows a picture of what looks like a normal house, and I wish I could find this picture again. And then you get oh my God, why did that just slip my mind? The schematics of what's actually underneath what you see.
Okay,
like normal. There we go, blueprint. That's what was. Wow, that escaped my mind. Holy crap! But you see, it looks like a normal, little log cabin. It's got a plane there. That's what I was saying. I wish we could find that picture again. The one with the zombie apocalypse one that has the circle multiple rooms. Yeah, I know. I should say that more often. But the blueprint shows that basically he's got an underground, almost everything's underground, and then he's got what looks like an old, probably what you're guessing, a silo, has been reconverted into living quarters and places to stay. You see pictures as he's, he actually, sorry, not pictures, a video of actually He goes into his house. The camera kind of turns away and focuses on the wall or something. You hear a bunch of beeping, and then you see the door kind of slide open, and he walks you through it. This place is fucking huge. It's about an hour-long video of him just filming everything he's done. And then on one of the levels, you see just guns. You know, he even has swords, you know, knives, grenades.
Perfect. I'm going to shoot him a reply to see if he's available to meet up at some point. And basically, my intention is to try and ghoul him. But I'll send with it a just a thing of and granted, mine's not quite as elaborate, but it's probably more secure because I built it under a parking lot. It's got like a bank vault door, you know, so it's an actual concrete bunker underground bank vault door. So I'll just kind of send him some pictures of that and stuff and see if he's interested in meeting up and kind of discussing techniques and methods under the pretense of getting us in person, and then I will attempt to ghoul him then.
Okay.
So.
If you do any research on him, which I'm sure you would before you even met him, just to make sure that he really fits all the qualifications. I mean, he did list for military. He actually became a lieutenant colonel before he finally left the military. So
Okay.
he's got some pretty decent experience. He is a former Navy SEAL.
Okay.
So whatever the Navy's equivalent, I think it's still lieutenant colonel, but they have a different.
Yeah.
So whatever lieutenant colonel works out in the Navy too, but so if you check, he does have that. He does actually have all that. He was honorably discharged. It's not like he went psycho and fucking tried to kill somebody. He was honorably discharged. He's got a bunch of medals and a list of them on. Obviously, he's very combat oriented. You do see he became an expert in hand-to-hand combat. He was a expert marksman. Specifically, he was when he was in the SEAL. Specifically, before he joined the SEALs, he was actually a sniper and one of the best the Navy had.
Okay. Perfect. And that's. So I'm going to try and reach out to him, get in touch with him. Really, he's what I'm looking for. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Try and meet up with him in person. You know, maybe a cup of coffee and something like that.
Okay.
Basically, my intention is, you know, hey, I'll grab coffee for each of us, drop a blood in his,
Gotcha.
type of thing, discreetly, and then meet up with him again in a couple of subsequent nights to finish that process. At which point, I'll explain what's going on. Essentially, break the masquerade for him. Once he's fully bloodbound, I'll break the masquerade for him and kind of tell him the whole deal then. But my first goal, obviously, is just meet him in person, start forming that blood bond discreetly.
Okay.
So
that works. Okay. I'll start making a sheet for him later. Not a big deal for right now. He'll be a goal for now, so it's not really an issue.
Yeah, as long as we've got a rough idea what he's capable of, should I have to call him in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll definitely be enough.
All right. Well, I think that was about it for me.
Yeah, I definitely think you got everything. I mean, JoJo will get back to you. That's going to take a little bit because he's got to contact him and then talk to him and so on and so forth. So that'll take.
Yeah, and I assume we'll probably handle that in a separate single session in a week or two.
That'd be easier. Yeah.
And if you want, you're going to shoot me the list with the cybernetics and stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll chat. We can chat a little bit about that later.
Okay. Yeah,
I had nothing else. That was it for me.
All right.
I'll call it a night then.
Sounds good. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned.